There have been mistakes, and my commitment is to own up to them and fix them. I think there's many things in the Stafford Act that need to be changed. It's very restraining, it's very limiting, and for devastations of a certain magnitude, it really inhibits the progress moving forward. So I think there needs to be a broad discussion on how we make Stafford Act better, how we amend it, and how do we respond to these devastations, because there is no doubt in my mind that with global climate change, this is going to be a significant issue that we're facing, not only in Puerto Rico, but in the rest of the nation and the rest of the world. We need to calibrate for those, mitigate, build resilient, and that's part of my commitment in Puerto Rico, make sure that we use this opportunity not only to rebuild, but to do it smarter, innovate, and more resilient. Our process with FEMA has been marred with bureaucracy, and part of the importance of FEMA in this process is that they're one of the first lines of defense in the recovery, making sure people have roofs, making sure that the adequate resources for emergency are executed. By delaying that process, you delay the recovery and the eventual reconstruction of Puerto Rico. We have very specific asks. Eliminate the excess bureaucracy that has been imposed on Puerto Rico as opposed to Texas and Florida. Allow us to have 100% of the cost share. That's on the president's desk. So we're asking for his consideration here. Nothing different than what happened in Louisiana and Katrina, and enable us to push forward on the recovery. I recognize the role of the board. We've had many differences, and I will fight those differences. From a philosophical perspective, and even prior to the board, I've always opposed the notion of a board. It's non-democratic. It's imposing, certain people that are working part-time to be part of a very significant and robust decision-making process. So similar to my view with colonialism, this is just another outcome of colonialism. No state would have a fiscal oversight. If once we get those 5 budgets balanced, then the oversight board leaves. It is something that I don't think works. That was there before I became governor. I'm working with it, but I will fight it. I think that there's more interest than ever in statehood. I think that if you see national polls, you see the tendency clearly towards statehood and away from the other options. And you can't just take the last plebiscite by itself. There was another plebiscite executed 4.5 years previous to that, where there was over 80% participation, where statehood won with 60-some% of the vote, and where the current status was rejected. So taking both of those components, recognizing that it was an off-year plebiscite and that some folks decided not even to participate. The only reason why they decided not to participate was because they knew what the outcome was going to be. So yes, support for statehood is big. Now, after the passing of the storm, of the hurricane in Puerto Rico, the conversation elevated. Prior to the storm, only 20% of U.S. citizens in the mainland knew that we were U.S. citizens. Now, more than 90% do. So this has become a hot button issue. It's the right time to get some action on this issue. Well, we have different worldviews, right? I think that's one thing, and we have different ways of getting our message across. I think that's another. My way of operating is execution and getting results. Hers is more media-driven. Again, we have different worldviews. I believe that Puerto Rico should be the connector of Americas. I believe that Puerto Rico should become a state. She doesn't. I believe that we should have free market flow and economic development in Puerto Rico. She opposes it, has an opposing view to that. But as I said, in the process of rebuilding Puerto Rico, I am always willing to work with anybody.